Hello, hello. So, welcome to Cammas Nomadic Diary. It's been quite some time since I've posted an update. I'm still living here in Japan, and everything's going really well. I have a new company. I technically work for two companies, but one of them is more part-time. I teach English as a foreign language. And something about that I'd like to say is that I'm just so grateful and ecstatic and very happy that I managed to stick it out and, follow my dreams. Obviously my main dream is to be a high school theater teacher, but I feel like still, I worked for going overseas for so long. I ran into roadblockers, I had to jump over hurdles, and 120 panic attacks later, here I am. And it's been a year and 2 months since arrival. I am finally very comfortable in, my new home. Obviously, I would be comfortable in just about any space after living in my van, living in my van for 2 years, not being able to stand up in my own house. I can definitely stand up in here, so that's fantastic. Something that I would probably want to advise for anyone who's thinking about moving to Japan is, do your research, but also keep in mind that not all the research is up to date. There's probably plenty of bogus research out there as well. I did a bunch of research that everyone dressed really well all of the time, and that's not really true. I read one time that Japanese people don't wear holes in their jeans. Also not true. So if you're worried about, oh my gosh, well, I've got holes in my jeans, I have skirts, I have tank tops, don't be overly worried. People wear just about whatever they want here. Now, while the women do have a tendency, and men too, to keep their arms covered, even during the summer months. But this is mainly because they don't want to tan. Japanese people tan really, really easily, and having a fairer complexion is more attractive. Plus, I think some of my students have told me they don't want to get melanoma or skin cancer. Worried about the sun giving them skin cancer. But if you go, rural area, I don't really spend a whole lot of time in the city. There is a city here. Obviously, I'm not going to disclose that for safety purposes. But the city, people kind of stay covered. Of course, you're going to run into a couple young girls, they're wearing mini skirts. But very rarely will you see a whole bunch of cleavage. Shoulders are kind of taboo, while some girls do it. The best thing that you can do as a foreigner when you're coming to Japan is to do your best to learn the polite language first, and then be very careful and follow signs. And when you're going to temples or shrines, be sure to cover up your belly, your shoulders, and maybe even your legs too. You just want to be respectful as much as you can be for such an old country, which is kind of interesting. I'm sure some people, they don't think about it whenever they're thinking about going to Japan, or maybe they do. I'm sure some people don't. You go to Japan from America, and Japan is a fuck ton more here I'm an English teacher. Japan is so much older than America, and it's got so much history and traditions, So whenever you're immersing yourself, be sure to, try to itadakimasu before you eat. At least learn arigatou gozaimasu. And mind you, even I still get that wrong sometimes. It's the R, because the R is complicated in Japan, but that'll be left for a whole different thing. But yeah, so I haven't noticed a whole lot of other things. I did get from Thailand some really cute hemp shirts where they show your back, your shoulders, and most of you on the top half, but it's cute because what's important is covered. And I decided to buy something like that because it all depends on your personal preference. The reason why Japanese people keep it covered here, mainly, I as far as I understand, is the fact that women find it. People find fairer skin more attractive here, so nobody wants to show their skin. Me being a white person, I don't really tan. I burn. So I just have to be careful about not burning. So I'm not overly worried about it. Plus, I'd way rather be comfortable than uncomfortable. I realized as I've gotten a bit older that, and I don't know if it's age or I don't drink enough water or what, but I'm a lot more sensitive to heat than I used to be. And I'm not old enough yet for menopause, so that's not it. But as some of you know, I struggle a bit with some anxiety and panic attacks randomly. So basically, if I get too hot too suddenly, or basically too hot, it can oftentimes lead to me having a panic attack. I can fight them for the most part, but they're super uncomfortable, and sometimes I have to evacuate the area. So it'd be great if that just didn't happen. So I bought some clothes that I would feel comfortable in. Obviously I'm not showing my titties. I barely even have any titties to show my titties. So that'll still be covered. My tattoos will be visible, but where I'm at now and with my job, they don't care if I show my tattoos. Obviously you shouldn't go to temples and stuff with your tattoos visible. And you have to be careful about going to certain onsens and pools and beaches with tattoos. But in general, walking around town, no one's gonna stop you and be like, hey, cover up your tattoo. Nobody cares. That you might get stared at extra, but honestly, if you look anything like me, okay, all right, blonde hair, fucked up roots, anything like me, and apparently the nose thing, that'll get you stared at. You think my nose is big? Well, apparently in Japan, this is beautiful, which is fucking hilarious, considering. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, tattoos. So, you just kind of want to keep those covered in certain places. Just do your research, But other than that, most people don't care about your tattoos. Older people might give you an extra stiff eye, but tattoos are becoming more and more common. Not just the Yakuza has tattoos now, younger people, college kids, various people are getting tattoos now as like a trend thing, but it is still sort of taboo. So, just be careful about where you're going. Tokyo, fine. Osaka, fine. Hamamatsu, probably fine, although whenever I was in Hamamatsu, but that was the second city I'd been in since arrival, I did get a little bit of racism there, mainly because they just didn't want us in their restaurant, and there were even people in our group that could speak Japanese, but that's where I learned Gaijin, which, by the way, I didn't know this until way later. I thought it was just a funny word for foreigner, but apparently it's an insult. It's a bad thing. So that's where I learned Gaijin, was in Hamamatsu, Shizuoka. So anyway, I know I have a low follower count, but if ever, even a year from now, somebody has any questions, wants me to cover something in a video, feel free to leave it down below in the comments. Like, follow, and I will probably follow you back as long as I see the notification. Anyway, thanks for joining me for the Nomadic Diary, and have a wonderful day. Drink enough water. Bye.